What's up, everyone? This is Niyi Adewale, host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. This group meets virtually every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the members of this group are committed to achieving financial freedom well before the traditional retirement age. So in this podcast, you are going to get VIP access to the conversations we have about different forms of investment and creative ways to get your dollars working harder for you than you originally worked to obtain those dollars. Bo, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm super good. You at the firehouse right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is
Yes,
one of the
sir.
24-hour shifts, man.
Yep. This is it.
I don't know if we talked about this before, but I used to work for a company called Fire One out in Philly. And we were responsible for going up and down the East Coast and testing the fire equipment. So we're one of the guys that pulled it off the truck once a year, pulled it back on the truck. It was terrible. The accordion packs, all those different kinds of it was the 5-inch was rough.
Yeah, it's a lot of work getting that stuff back undone and put it back up.
So do you guys hire it out, or do you have like some of your younger
at this fire department? I worked at one before. But at this one, we do it all in-house. But at the one I worked before, we hired that out.
Hey, more power to you, man. That
right.
in-house is no joke. I would try to get off on that day.
Yeah, right. I'm sick. Yeah.
But how you been, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Just working like crazy. Still trying to finish that house.
Come on.
Just wired it up yesterday. Got it done. Got all the wiring done. Sheetrock crew coming. So should be getting ready to make it look pretty again.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always exciting. That's the fun part.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
No, I literally.
What about you?
So I told you I work with a flipper, and we're getting close to having one listed. It's actually going to get listed next week. I'm going to be the realtor on that.
Right.
So I'm excited. So we're going to bring in all the, staging. We're going to bring in photographers end it next week and see if we can't get this thing sold the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's one. And then two, I'm taking on another client for my short-term rental. So it's going to bring my management piece up to 5 managed and 2 owned. So 7 total, because we're closing on that property in 2 weeks.
What's your goal with that? You going to keep growing it?
Yeah. So my goal overall is I'm still working a W-2 just like you and investing in real estate. And my goal is by the end of 2024 to be able to move into full-time real estate. So I got my realtor license late last year. I'm starting to build up my client base. And one thing I didn't count on that's may get me there sooner than the end of 2024 is being able to manage other people's short-term rentals along with my own, right? Similar to the conversation we had last week, I put systems in place to manage the 2 that I had, and I want to continue growing that. I plan to get another one here in a couple months. And because I had the systems in place, when others, would ask me, hey, how are you doing this? I would tell them. And then I got a couple people saying, hey, do you mind managing mine? And long story short, in like a 6-month period, I went from managing just my 2 to now manage 6 total. And I'm bringing on a 7th in about 2 weeks and an 8th about a month from now.
How many of those do you want?
Do I want to own personally?
Do you want to manage? Sorry.
Manage? I don't know, man. I'm just going to I'm not pushing it out or advertising it, but if people keep coming, word of mouth, I'll take it on. At the end of the day, it gives me more scalability with the cleaners, for example, and with contractors. So for example, with my cleaners, I've standardized their pay now. They get X amount per month plus bonuses. It's really good pay, but they get X amount per month plus bonuses. And there's no questions on, hey, this was a harder cleaning, or, hey, this one was, because before there was a little bit of that. When you have one house, if it's a harder cleaning than expected, you got to pay a little extra. But
now it's
you have 6 houses. It's like, guys, this is what it is across the board, whether it's easy, hard. And my cleaner has started to build his team. So now he's got 3 people reporting to him, and he's enjoying it. I meet with him on a monthly basis to talk about goals and planning. And long story short, it just allows you to be able to take advantage of economies of scale.
Right.
But Bo, before we jump into it, I see we got Radim. How you doing, man?
What's going on?
I know we cut you off last time, man. My apologies.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It happens like that.
And I want everybody. So last week, Bo joined us for the first time, and this week we've got Lewis joining us for the first time. Lewis, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to meet you all. I'm just glad to be involved and looking to learn something.
Come on now, and we're looking to learn from you as well. And one thing that we do anytime somebody new joins is we ask them, hey, just a little bit about your background, what you do from an investing standpoint, and some of your goals. Would you mind sharing that, Lewis?
Yeah, no problem. I'm here in Atlanta, obviously, and went to Georgia State University, graduated a couple of years ago. I work in the underwriting space for commercial real estate and multifamily. And my girlfriend and a friend of mine got me interested in the short-term rental space. And so I just, watched as many YouTube videos as I could, as many podcasts as I could. And, I had bought a home, primary residence, in 2019 as well. So I just turned it into a short-term rental at the end of February and been trying to, run it, deal with guests, deal with trying to automate everything. And I'm using the landscaper that you recommended to me the other day. So that's great. He's going to be out there cutting my yard tomorrow. So I'm just trying to get everything together, get the team together so I can just automate and then scale. And the goal is really to be in the next 3, 4, 5 years to be financially free from this and then just continue scaling it essentially.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you mentioned that you got your first one up and running in February. And so are you planning to try to get another one this year?
Yeah. So I'm another thing I guess about me, I'm also in the Air Force Reserves. I serve at Dobbins in Kennesaw, and I'll be getting out later this year. And then I'll be able to probably use VA loans. So I'm trying to probably get a VA loan for primary residence, maybe rent it out when I'm not there type of thing. And then just keep moving on to more and more properties, I guess one every year. But like you said, if there's an opportunity for me to partner with someone else or manage someone else's property, I mean, why not? Just helps you retire even faster.
And Lewis, I don't want to skip over what you just said. We truly appreciate your service as well as Bo's. I know both of you guys served, and we have others that served as well. Marcus, who's somebody that joins a lot of these calls, was in the Air Force too. So thank you for your service, and looking forward to you getting out and pursuing these financial freedom dreams. And one other person want to introduce, Francesco. Welcome back, man.
How you feeling, man?
Super good. Last we talked, I know you were on the housing search. How is that going?
It's going good. So I'm in a very unique position, which I see as a learning experience as well. So I didn't even know this exists. It's called a short sale or something, where the bank basically owns it. And it's such a weird, interesting path. So this house has been on the market for 250 days, but they declined an offer back in January. And people told me that, this kind of, I guess, whole deal I can negotiate. So I attempted to negotiate, saying, hey, help with the closing costs. And I increased the total cost of the house by $10,000. They declined the help with the closing costs, but accepted a $10,000 increase. And so they are waiting to accept the cash offer by March 26th. And if they don't accept the cash offer, they're going to take my offer. So I'm even trying to see, I don't know if I already messed up by saying, hey, by upping the price by 10,000, because I even want to take away the 10,000 now and be like, yo, I'm just going to give you for the price that it was appraised for at the bank, which was $10,000 less. But I just was encouraged by my realtor to just go with that move, because right now Baltimore is booming. Like just last weekend, DC investors bought several hotels in the city. So, a lot of people from DC are just moving here in a great number right now. So, yeah.
So question for Radim, have you purchased a short sale before?
No, a lot of them deals sometimes they fall through because typically the short term is normally when people behind on a mortgage, and if the homeowner who behind say, hey, listen here, I have I want to sell a house. I can't pay you guys X, Y, and Z. Would you be able to do it at a, reduced rate? And it's really up to the bank discretion. So sometimes it's a process sometimes.
Yeah. So
But sometimes they do. Sometimes it's worth it. But sometimes them deals can be 6, 7, 8 months. Sometimes it just depends on, the bank, because the bank be having a lot of properties. They don't work by no commission.
And you're right about that, actually. I forgot to mention that part. I do like this kind of this path I'm taking because it gives me time to not have to break my lease. I was open to breaking my lease. I'm like, all right, if I find a good deal, if I'm close to like closing out on the home, I'm breaking that shit. But now 6 months, that's what my realtor told me is perfect timing, which my lease ends by then. I think I would need one more extra month. It's going to be one more extra month until I'm able to move in. So that 1 month, I'm just going to move into AirBNB and put my shit in the storage and stuff.
Yeah. No, it worked out perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you contractually, because you mentioned they have a cash offer potentially, right? And they're going to make a decision 26th. I haven't done a short sale, right, before. One of my partners, my flipper partner, has, and she mentioned exactly what you said and where Deem said. It takes a long time, right? And a lot can happen during that time period. But would you be contractually locked in to go through with that for that whole 6 months?
No, they told me I can withdraw. Well, my realtor told me I can withdraw. And they don't have a cash offer. They basically gave themselves a deadline of the 26th of this month to receive a cash offer. But I don't think with a home like that, someone would be willing to just say, hey, 100%, here you are. I just because it's an area that's kind of like developing gradually. It's right by Hopkins, but there are other areas that basically the hotspot where, people are already moving into right now. So this kind of like a best kept secret type of situation.
Fair enough. And the layout of the home, I'm assuming you've seen it and kind of what drew you to the home?
So it's more like I'm compromising at this point because if it was completely up to like how I fantasize my true home, this would not be anything remotely close. But with how my realtor, kind of encouraged me to kind of like lower my standards a bit because this market is just insane. Everything is expensive. Even, I was watching the news, even oranges are expensive as hell, So he's like, yo, you got to like capitalize on something, this is your first home, just like how you were saying, like, you're like, this guy get him somewhere. So this place has a basement. There's just some work to do. I'm going to do a lot of like the renovations myself, but the things that do require like professional maintenance, I will, hire somebody. So it's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, close to Hopkins. There's a little fenced in like backyard type of situation, but it's all concrete. So it's a decent location, but it's still in a food desert, So that's really one of my main priorities. I want it to be by a grocery store because I don't have a car. I prefer to walk places. So being in the city, that's what I'm used to for years. So this is kind of like a transition I'm gonna have to get used to and eventually get a car,
That's fair. That's fair. And I'd love to connect offline just to take a look with you, right? I want you to be successful in this first one, man, because that's just going to fuel your next one and the next one, the next one. I know we talked about potentially being able to rent a part of the house out just to see if the floor plan works for that. So we'll definitely connect offline on that, Francesco. But I'm happy to see you making moves, man.
Bless, man.
Oh, congrats, man. Congrats. You gonna
get it. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I saw we were just joined by Dalise or Dallas. You mind chiming in?
Yeah. I have no idea what we're talking about. I just came in. So what's going on?
Yeah. So is this your first time joining the call?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a weekly call that we have. And typically different investors, we get together and we just talk about what we're working on and different goals for accomplishing this year so that we can hopefully be able to partner up with one another and or help us keep each other encouraged as well as give advice for any issues that we're going through moving forward. So for anybody new that joins, we just like to hear a little bit about your backstory, kind of what you're investing in right now and some of your goals for this year. So if you would not mind.
Okay, so my name is Adalis. It's normally spelled with an I. So it's Idalis. So I currently am not investing in anything right now, but I'm very interested, which is why I am joining the call. So right now I've been pretty much saving up for a home. And so I projected it will be like mid 2023. So that's kind of my goal. Right now it's looking good. It looks like I will be able to reach that goal. I don't exactly have an idea of what location yet, but I have talked to like a realtor and everything like that to kind of get that going so I can have an idea of what the process will look like. So yeah, I mean, just being a beginner, I'm kind of looking for mentorship. I'm 25, so, and I will be like the first to do this in my family. So I'm kind of looking forward to the adventure. And yeah, I just graduated from my master's program and got a job, luckily, because sometimes it's hard to do right after graduate school. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my background. I'm just here to learn. And as you said, ask questions along the way when I get stuck, because I don't want to get got. That's one of my fears. I'm really small, so everyone tells me I look super young. And so sometimes people want to take advantage. So I'm just trying to know as much as I can. So that's pretty much about me.
And Dallas, I love it. I love that you've set a goal for purchasing that first home and that you're on track for it. Because as a lot of people on this call can tell you, once you get that first one under contract and move in and start seeing some of the benefits of real estate, it's hard to ever go back to renting, one, and two, you're probably going to purchase a lot more. So rooting for you. And I don't know if you mentioned it. What area are you located in? What city?
I'm in the Jonesboro area.
Jonesboro. Okay,
Mm.
nice. So yeah, we definitely have people on this call that are familiar with the area, and we'll try to help you out as much as we can. Feel free to chime in and ask any questions that you may have when we're going over stuff. But switching gears, Lewis, you mentioned something that definitely wanted to come back to. You said you just started the Airbnb in February and you're working through systems. Do you have any systems that you're using right now, or how are you managing that?
Yeah, so through my, I guess, YouTube adventure with just going through all these different channels, people mentioned that, you can manage properties yourself. And I guess if you're more into long-term space, sometimes you have a property management company handle everything for you. So in this case, I was like, well, let me save some money and just figure out how to do it if I can honestly do it and save myself a lot of time. So, I mean, there's a thing that I hear a lot is this thing called Price Labs, which helps, automate the price. And I'm sure you probably know a lot of these things, but Price Labs to like automate the prices. There's this property management software called OwnerRez that I'm using and still trying to like build out. Basically just helps sync up all my calendars, helps me like automate messages to guests, looking to like get a credit card processor in there, et cetera, et cetera. And so let me see what else. I think I can't. And then there's like this thing called Remote Lock, which helps like um, automate when a guest creates a booking, and then you can like automatically generate a code for the guest. So I mean, I guess if anybody doesn't know about the short-term rental space or is already in it, I mean, I feel like automation is the name of the game, and just, of course, it's more expensive though. That's the only caveat. It's like everything comes with a cost. But I guess personally, I value my time more in order to just get more properties as opposed to just make as much as I can off of one property. So there's just a lot of the things that I'm using. I'm looking for more to just try to save more time too. So if anybody knows anything, please let me know.
No, hey, I 100% agree with you. I'm definitely familiar with the Price Labs and just your overall philosophy of automation. It's the only way I've been able to build up to, managing 6 and managing 8 in about a month. And so the Price Labs is one that I use as well, right, to automate that pricing and make sure that when there's an event going on in Atlanta, we're not missing out on those dollars. OwnerRez, I've never heard of that. Is that a newer software? Has that been around for a while?
I'm actually not sure how long they've been around, but I guess I was looking at different software that I could use, and then this one just kind of came up in my Google searches, and I was just like, well, I looked into the website, looked into the features, and I was like, well, let's give it a shot, because when you have no concept of what you're doing, you might as well just kind of try it and see how it goes, see if it's a fit. And so far it's been really good. I mean, I think it's a platform to where you can really scale up a portfolio, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And if you're able to do the automated messaging, like you said, that's key. I use something called Hospitable, which used to be Smart B&B until they changed their name a couple months ago. And that does the same. And then from a credit card processor, I actually use Quickbook Invoices for anybody that's booking direct. And I only allow people that have stayed through Airbnb or VRBO and had a stellar stay. When they come back, I allow them to book direct. I don't just take direct bookings because I do want that liability protection for the first time.
Right. And I guess when I get more properties, I feel like, and it makes sense to have a direct booking site. It's something I'm looking into, but I will get there eventually. But I guess for now, we'll just have to see where it goes. But I've heard of Hospitable before, and I've heard good things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's solid, man. That's solid. And we're looking forward to continue to support your journey. And kind of switching it back over to Bo, I know you mentioned that you're working on a couple projects right now. When is the completion date scheduled for that, for the project you're working on? And Bo, you're currently on mute.
There we go. Right now we're looking at 90 days. That's tentative. We already have 3 offers on the place. Looking to put one of them on contract in the next 15 to 30 days. And once that's done, then I'll have to get with the new homeowner, make sure that everything that I'm doing to the house is in line with something that they want. Usually if it's under contract and they're going to buy the place, I am open to changing some of the things that I had already planned on doing, whether the backsplash on the tile on the backsplash goes from white to gray. If that's what they want, then that's what I'll do. But so right now we're looking at finishing and closing in about 90 days.
And you mentioned, where are you doing this? Where's the house located?
Covington, Georgia.
Covington. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nice. It's a little bit out of the range. I got a couple buyers that are interested more in like Conyers and things of that nature. Covington's a bit out.
Yeah. This one is about 6 minutes from Conyers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you have, we may have to connect on that because I do have somebody that's looking for something out that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to give me the details on what this offer is that we got to beat though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We talk offline on that. But going back, I know this is a little bit, we can go back to that as much as you want. But before I forget, Lewis, welcome. We appreciate your service. But also you said something about buying a primary residence in the somewhat near future with maybe a VA loan. I have done that and have some experience doing that. And keeping in mind that you are an investor and that it's not going to be a one-time thing. A VA loan is a super, super powerful tool, but there are stipulations on that. And they're not hard stipulations to work around. But if you don't know, like I didn't know, you can get yourself in a bind. Some of those stipulations are prices of houses. And from what I understand, and I don't understand it all, and the VA and your lender, whatever lender is working with the VA, they will know the rules to this, but they're not going to offer this information. You're going to have to go out and look for it and ask those questions. But say, for instance, you want to buy a property for $100,000 with your VA loan. And in 12 months and 1 day, you want to rent it out, turn it into an Airbnb or whatever, and go buy another property. They're going to have a specific price range that you have to, on the first one, they'll let you do whatever you want. As long as it's over $50,000, they'll give you enough money to buy it. On the second one, they're going to have extremely strict restrictions on what those prices can be. And if you have a house that you want to buy that is $20,000 less than they're willing to work with, then you can't use a VA loan with it. You're going to have to go get a traditional mortgage, which is fine. I mean, that's one way to do it, but it also takes that away. So keep that in mind and ask those questions before you get started, because it might alter. I know it did for me. It slowed me way down and took a lot of momentum away from me, because I had the first one in mind and I already had the second one that I was going to buy 12 months out because it was from a family friend. And when I went to buy that second one, it wasn't worth enough money for the VA to loan me on. I had a stipulation that I had to spend $242,000, and that house was worth $180,000. And they said, we don't care. Here's our rules, and we're sticking to them. So just keep that in mind, and understand, maybe not understand the exact numbers, but understand where those numbers come from, because it's not always the same. If your first house is $300,000, then your second house might have different rules for different things. But just keep that in mind. I know that doesn't apply to everyone, but it is something that could help you in the future.
And I do appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate your service as well, Bo. And I've been trying to do as much research as I can on these rules, because, like you said, I'm not trying to, get my momentum slowed down and be able to effectively kind of get more under my belt. And I'm just kind of working at, with the way Atlanta's prices are going, that, I just hope they keep up, like the amount they allow you to borrow keeps up with the inflation of housing prices. So I guess that's just something I'll have to see when I get there.
Yeah, they, I mean, if you've never touched it, they have a cap on it right now, but the cap in today's market is pretty low, but it'll probably be a few years before they catch up to where we're at today, but that's all right. We can get creative.
Right. Thank you for the advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And piggybacking off of that, the cap, right? I know for conventional loans, and really like even FHA, they just recently took that cap up. I'm not familiar with the VA, so you got to Google all this, ask your lender. But I know for like a conventional loan, a jumbo loan for the US used to be considered anything that's 40-ish or higher. And you'd have to go from putting 5% down to conventional to now you got to put 10, 15% down on a jumbo loan. Just recently, Senate and everybody approved, because housing prices have skyrocketed. A jumbo loan is now quantified as 650 or lower in Georgia, which is pretty good. You can get a nice house for that. And the reason they had to do that is the average home selling price across the nation is about 500K, right? That's the average. So if you want to get in to buy your first home, it's gone up. And so they had to increase that. So I would assume, I say all this to say, I would assume the VA has to be increasing that loan limit as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
And piggybacking off of that first home purchase price, right? I know Francesco was shaking his head because he's seeing it firsthand. But Adalis, when you look at that first home that you want to purchase, right? Do you have an idea of what type of property that is? Do you want it to be only a primary residence where just your fam stays? Or do you want it to be a primary that can also bring you some income?
Definitely a primary to where it can bring me income. Honestly, so I currently stay with my parents. That's how I'm able to save like I am. But I am kind of ready to move out. And so I'm kind of battling which one is more important, or how I can do both in a way. Does that look like me staying at my home, 3-4 times a week, and then, staying with my parents on the weekend? I don't know what that kind of looks like for me. But I definitely want to, it wouldn't be my main point of stay, I guess.
That is fair. And I gotta say, I love that. The fact that you have the mindset of, hey, I want this to be able to accomplish both if possible. And one of the best things that I believe you can do, and I did it myself, is if you can delay gratification, right, of living in a single family by yourself, no neighbors, etc., for as long as you can, especially early on, it's going to set you up for success down the road. And so a lot of the people on this call already know kind of how I got started, but at 25, right at your age, I bought a triplex. And before that, I was living in this dope. It was pretty cool, like dope, 2-bed, 2-bath, had my own apartment, all that stuff. But I broke that lease because I knew financial freedom is something I wanted to pursue. And I was able to get a triplex, live in one of the units, and rent the other 2 units out, which effectively covered the mortgage and made my expenses zero. And the way I was able to afford that is when you're doing a personal loan or a conventional loan or a personal property loan, you can buy a house up to 4 units and still only put down 3.5% to 5%. So you can go get, that $500,000 house that we're talking about. You can get that for 3.5%, which I got to actually do a calculator on that. Give me 1 second. 500,000 times 0.035 for $17,500. You can have a $500,000 house that's bringing you income, and then move out of that 1 year later and keep doing that over and over. And so I've been house hacking since 2016. First started with the triplex. That was in Louisville, Kentucky. When I was in Boston, it was way too expensive up there to get something like that. So I bought a condo and had a roommate, saved that way. And then now here in Atlanta, I bought a single family with an in-law suite, and I Airbnb out the in-law suite, which brings in roughly $2,500 a month and pays well over half the mortgage in the neighborhood I'm in. So Dallas, definitely want to connect with you. I am in the Atlanta area, and I actively help other investors find those types of properties. So we can definitely connect when you're ready on that piece.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. And Radim, I know it's the project that keeps on going, man, but I always ask you, how is the renovation going on your project? I know you had like an event space that you were thinking about doing there, as well as short-term rental. How's it going?
It's going good. I went on a pause. A deal just came, so a good deal came my way. This is a deal that he been getting cold feet. He want to sell 1 minute, he want to sell the next minute, but I just got him under agreement for it's a residential, but you can convert it to a triplex. So the deal was actually between me and my partner. So we're gonna go ahead and cash him out and get that property. We really just trying to let it go. Hold on.
Dean, you still there? We may have just lost him. He was just getting to the good part too. That's fair. That is fair. Okay, opening it up.
Hello?
Yeah, Radim, we lost you for a second.
Hello?
Radim, can you hear us?
Hello?
Radim, can you hear me? If you can see me, you may have to exit.
Hey, I'm back on. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah, what I was saying was, so we settled on 80K, but because we know him, we're gonna do 40 on the table, and we're gonna do 40 behind the closed doors, because he don't want them to tax him as much, and we're gonna do it on that way. So I'm just debating. We trying not to. Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my phone going off. And
I think Radim just dropped. But that is how you do deals in Philly. Radim is based in the Northeast. And so it's a lot of, I used to live up there. And so it's a lot of, it's a little more creative up that way, right? But we have about a little less than 10 minutes on the call. Are there any topics that are top of mind, anything that you're working through, or any questions that you want to dig into? Anybody?
I got something I want to pick your brain on.
Please.
I'm not ready right now, but somewhere between.
Radim, we can hear you, but give us 1 second.
Oh.
Somewhere between 5 and 7 months from now, I'm going to be looking to buy another property. And I would like to buy a property that's in good enough shape that I can get a mortgage on it. I have chunk that I would like it to be dated so I can add value myself to it. And I have the capital to put that money into it. But right now I want a 3 or 4 plex. I don't know that that's going to be in the Atlanta area. I don't know if that's going to be in my price range. I might do a bigger single or a duplex maybe. But you're still going to be around in 5 to 7 months. So keep me in mind. If you find a real good one, I'll jump on it a little early.
Come on now. We will be around and we can connect and we'll figure out some creative ways, because I do work with the flipper and we're actively, I kind of leave that to her. I work with the investors and actually locking up the deals, and she works on kind of wholesaling and finding the actual deals that we're going to flip. So there may be a couple coming up, and I will keep you in mind on that.
Absolutely. I know you said you got some people in Conyers that are looking, and that is where I work. So I know a lot of people around here and a lot of places and a lot of people with a lot of places. So if you got somebody that really wants to be here, let me know what they're looking for and I'll help you out.
Done and done. Bo, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And Radim, you were just telling us how business is done in Philly. Do you mind?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, no, pretty much. So we settle on 80,000. It's a residential 3-story. I got to quit. It's 80,000. It's a real good deal. But it's with me and my partner. We're going to do 40 on the table, 40 behind the table. We had that comfortable relationship. So I just got the paper notarized. We got the paperwork and we took it straight to the abstract company. Hopefully she get it back in a week like she's saying, but we probably can't bank on that. The water might not come back. But quick question to you. So I was talking it over because we just want to get rid of it. Don't put no work, put no time in it. We just trying to push it along. But if I leave it as a residential, investor going to try to they're going to try to lowball me, right? They may try to give me 140, 130 max. But if I go down there and get it legally zoned as a triplex, put the work into it, I know I can get the numbers up to 500,000, but it'll be a loan.
It'll be a loan on the property to get it fixed up.
Refi,
you have to get a hard money.
I can get it up. I can get it up if I do the triplex, get it zoned as a triplex. Probably spend 125 in it, so I'll be in there for 200. But I think the numbers can come back at 500K, but it's with a loan. Refi. What would you do?
And to be clear, are you looking to keep this or are you looking to sell this to somebody else?
I'm in a dilemma. I'm debating. I really don't want to put the work in it because I'm on 2 projects, but I really just want to push it along. And probably the breakdown, if I sell it at 150, that's about 70 grand just by doing nothing. But if I take on a challenge and do all the hard work, I can get the refi at 500. What would you do?
Radim, you know what I'm going to say, man. You know what I'm going to say, right? With how much money was poured into the market over the last 2 years, right? Literally 40% of the dollars we have in the US right now were created out of thin air in the past 2 years because of the pandemic. A lot of it was needed, but inflation is going up as it should, and it's going to continue to go up for the next 2 years in my eyes, right? Before leveling off at some point. And so when you look at the dollar, it's even if you get that 70K, 2 weeks from now, it's not going to be worth that 2 years from now. But that real estate, dude, it's going to continue to go up. It's going to compound, not at the 3% annually that we're normally used to, but at closer to 7, 8, 9%, right? Last year, the properties that I owned appreciated by 15%, which is crazy. And so if you're open to doing the work, and I know it's a lot, the work that you put in today, you're going to be thanking yourself 2 years from now, just because one, you know that you did great work and that you can get solid tenants in there. Two, you're going to be pulling your capital back out, even more capital. So you're kind of benefiting on both ends, right? So you can get more money out in your pocket from a refinance that you can use to buy and invest in other deals. Plus you've got a solid property that's going to continue to appreciate that you can sell, a couple of years from now. So my vote would be to keep it, but would love to hear from anybody else.
I would keep it as well and rent it out if possible. I think that cash out refi give you that money back to probably do more projects too.
Yeah, I'm on the fence, but first and foremost, I'm gonna buy it. So at least I got the option. I don't have no immediate pressure. But I was just debating, because it's more one of them questions. Do I want to get more in debt, or I could still, with that money, I'm able to still maneuver a little bit and find other little things, like, So it's just
What's your plans with the money if you sell it? Buy another one?
Yeah, man, I gotta put it back into something, because I gotta put it back into something. So, but man, it just give me maybe I made
a bigger stick to fight with. I understand that.
Yeah. Or maybe pay off maybe one of my mortgages that I have that's probably like 40,000. Then I'll be ahead of the game. I mean, I might get that same amount of money in 2 to 3 years. I may get 200 and 300,000 profit, because I won't have to put that in mortgages and liens. So it's right. Certain things that I'm wrestling with. Another thing with Dolly, that's her name?
Adalis.
Yeah, I think you, in my opinion too, sometimes if you want to stay with your mom and still kind of capitalize on that first time homeowners, I think, like, as long as you have, you had your mail and you have everything going to that house to show that you have some residency there.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Podcast. If you found this content valuable, please go ahead and hit that like button, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is going to help us continue to grow and allow more people to discover our podcast. We read every single comment and review, and it gives us even more ideas for bringing better content to you in the future. Also, if you're looking to join the group for any of the live sessions, go ahead and check out the show notes. There's a link in there that will allow you to get in contact with the organizers so that you can join this group live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Thank you again for listening. We look forward to catching up with you next week.